Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551. Excuse me. And I am back with a video review. And actually, this one's going to be a review and thoughts. And for this one, I'm going to be talking about Xbox GamePass, the streaming service that, or the service that Microsoft is offering, though, with the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X as well, and of course, the Xbox One and all that stuff. When Phil Spencer took over the Xbox brand, though, at the time, the Xbox was not really in the best position. While the Xbox 360 was like a high moment for Microsoft, though, the Xbox One was kind of a low moment, and there were multiple reasons why. Some of it was the system was priced higher than the PS4 at the time, though, and some of it was the whole DRM, always online, that didn't exactly sit very well with everyone, including the whole used games and all that stuff. And that, unfortunately, that sort of forced Microsoft to sort of backtrack on some of those decisions. On top of that, there was the infamous, if you don't have an internet connection, we have a system for you. It's called the Xbox 360, which I think that definitely hurt the Xbox One and that stuff. So Microsoft made a lot of, let's just say, piss poor decisions at the time, and that really sort of hurt them with the Xbox One, though. I could say the same thing with Nintendo in regards of, with the Wii U and all. It's both Microsoft and Nintendo screw up on those systems. That is one of the reasons why the PS4 was a absolute success, though. So when Phil Spencer took over, though, he definitely sort of positioned the Xbox One and Microsoft. It sort of went in a different direction with it, though, and in a way, he kind of helped put Xbox One in a better position than it was. Not exactly a 100% perfect position, but definitely better than, say, it was when the Xbox One originally launched. And one of the things that they offered that Phil Spencer helped push was the whole idea of Game Pass, this whole Netflix style of games where you subscribe and you get a selection of games and all that, of what they have available and all. And over time, that service has grown and all and so forth, and they really are trying to push with it with their new systems out now, the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S. Now, I've tried Game Pass for a while, though, and I will say that my impression on the whole thing is that while there are some caveats and some things I'm not a huge fan of what Microsoft has done with Xbox Game Pass, I would say my experience with it has certainly been very positive and all. So why don't we get started with the pros and cons, and we'll start off first with the pros, though. And the first one I do want to talk about is the selection of games. And I will say that given where Game Pass is right now, though, it does have a pretty good selections of a lot of games, especially some of Microsoft's first-party games. Like, I was able to download the Fable games on there for free and all, to even games like, say, the Halo, to even Master Chief Collection and all that. So I really like the fact that they added variety with it by offering first-party games on there, which is definitely good, but also good selection of third-party games too. I mean, so this is really neat that they offer these type of games, and it's going to be really interesting to see when we start seeing more first-party games from Microsoft for the Xbox Series S and X, and seeing like a lot of those games be available day one to download and all that stuff. So it's a really neat approach to it. But I will say the selection of games, I will admit, though, is very impressive that Microsoft has put out so far. The next thing I do want to talk about is one feature that I really like that they did with Xbox Game Pass, though, and that is basically that should you decide to buy the game, if you enjoy the game on Xbox Game Pass, though, if you decide to go ahead and buy it, you could basically get a discount and all. And I think this is really, really good. And to me, I think it's somewhat pro-consumer in a way, because that way you'll know for certain if there's a game out there you like to try. Like, let's say, and I'm just pointing out games that interest me, but whether they interest you or not, that's your call. Like, let's say NieR Automata or Octopath Traveler. Maybe you've heard of these games but aren't really sure if it's something that clicks with you. Download it from Xbox Game Pass, try it out, and then if you decide, hey, I really do enjoy this game and I want to go ahead and buy it, you'll be able to get a discount off of it when you decide to go ahead and sort of buy the game and all. So I really like this approach though, and I definitely think it adds value to Xbox Game Pass. So like the idea that you get a discount should you decide to go ahead and buy the game if you're part of Game Pass. It's worth pointing out Game Pass, I believe it's $15 a month and all, so it's worth pointing that out, but still like the idea of the whole getting the discount and everything like that. And last but not least though, and I've yet to try this at this moment though, but it seems as though if you use like Game Pass and all, I believe you'll also have access to Xbox Cloud Gaming, which is basically you can play like games that they have on the cloud gaming, and if you have Game Pass, to play on like your tablet or smartphone or anything that has that you can that any device that supports the Xbox Cloud Gaming. Also, this is a really neat feature, especially for those who like the idea of cloud gaming or anything like that. So it's a really unique feature though. I've yet to try it though, but it certainly is a another option to have for those who are part of Game Pass and all. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we get back we'll get to part 2 of the cons of Xbox Game Pass. So we'll take a quick break and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my video review / thoughts of Xbox Game Pass though. So now that I gave you the pros, why don't we get started with the cons? And with the cons though, I can only really think of 2 things I could think of as far as with the Xbox Game Pass that I'm just think are just not, one is I'm not a huge fan of, and one I think is sort of a issue that Microsoft will probably address, but for right now it's not the situation's not available for them though. The first thing I do want to talk about is so-called Xbox Cloud Gaming, and how I mentioned that you'll be able to have access to it though if you're part of Game Pass, which is certainly good and all. The only problem with that is, as of right now, especially for those who have ISO devices, you know, like iPhones or iPad, at the moment though it's currently not available at this time. Now some of that I think falls on Apple's side of the problem, as they basically have this strict policy and all that stuff about streaming thing, although for some reason they're allowing Netflix, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Hulu, Amazon, you know, Amazon Studios and all that stuff, Amazon Videos and all. So it's just a little bit odd for it though. So, but either way though, we know Microsoft is working on supposedly a workaround it, sort of like a web application and all that stuff for, you know, the iPhones and the iPads and all that stuff. So it's a little annoying though, but it is what it is. But as of right now, the service isn't available on the iOS or iPads at this moment. That might change though over time, but for the moment it's currently available. Also, while I applaud Phil Spencer wanting to put Xbox Game Pass on every device out there, I'm not 100% sure we're going to see Game Pass appear on something like, say, the Nintendo Switch or anything like that. I could be wrong on that, and maybe Nintendo and Microsoft might work out a deal. I mean, we've heard some rumors about them possibly bringing it to basically the Nintendo Switch, but I have my doubts about that happening though. But time will ultimately tell if it happens though. But one of the cons in terms of Game Pass is that not all devices is going to have, you know, access to Xbox Cloud Gaming. And last but not least, the other con I have in regards of Game Pass though is that I'm not a huge fan of them taking sort of the Netflix style of approach though. For those who are not familiar with it, it means that the approach they're going to take is that some games are going to rotate in and out. So some games will be part of Game Pass, and then some games will be pulled out. And some of that does fall on the publisher to decide whether or not they want to continue, or the developers to continue putting the games on Game Pass or not. So for me, I'm kind of mixed on this approach though. Again, I'm not losing sleep over this approach, but I'm not a huge fan of the Netflix style of approach when it comes to basically with Game Pass, despite the fact that I do like the service and all that stuff. So it's definitely one of the annoyances, though. As some people, I understand some people are okay with it, but some people may not be okay with the idea of a Netflix style approach to what Microsoft is doing with Game Pass. Overall, I will say I definitely am having a positive experience with Xbox Game Pass, though. I will say the library of games certainly have grown, which is certainly good, though. And I love the fact that they give you a discount in terms of a lot of the games, whether you decide you want to buy it or not, though. If it's the kind of game that clicks with you, or if it's the kind of game that doesn't, though. If you like it that much, you could buy it and get a discount. And I do like the fact that you get access to Xbox Cloud Gaming. However, Xbox Cloud Gaming is not available on all devices out there, particularly iOS and, you know, like iPhones and iPads, though. And I will say that, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the Netflix style approach that they are taking with Game Pass and all, though. But that hasn't ruined my experience with Game Pass in general. I think this is a definitely positive thing that Microsoft has put out, though. It's going to be interesting to see if it continues to grow. It seems to be doing very well for Microsoft, and as long as it continues to do very well, they're not going to abandon it or anything like that. And I'm very curious to see how this will work when especially a lot of start seeing more of their first party games, particularly whether it's games from Bethesda, since they now own Bethesda, or other studios, especially with, you know, the upcoming Halo Infinite and Fable, and perhaps maybe some new IPs as well. So it's going to be really interesting, though, and it looks like it could add more value to the whole idea, though. Also, it will be really interesting to see if it stays the price. I believe that's, like I said, I believe the last time it was $15 a month. It'll be really interesting if Microsoft maintains that $15 a month, or if the price goes up over time. And like anything, it's also going to be very interesting to see if it does appear on other devices, especially if somehow they manage to get it onto something like, say, the Nintendo Switch or and so forth. And if it does, I'm very curious to see how that, along with Xbox Cloud Gaming, how that's going to work on a system like the Nintendo Switch. But either way, I would say my experience with Game Pass is definitely a positive. I definitely like the service, and I definitely like what Microsoft is doing, though. Hopefully we'll see them improve with it over time and find ways to make it better, though. But for right now, I would say my experience with Game Pass is that it's definitely a positive for me, though, and that's definitely a good thing. And it's definitely great for those who are planning to take a digital approach for buying their games, or if you're like me and have like an Xbox Series S, though, then this is where Game Pass could be a huge benefit for you. So for me, Game Pass, I definitely think it's a good thing, though, and it's worth taking a look at. Indeed, if you're not sure about it, especially if there are certain games that, you know, you're not sure about, you want to download it, try it out, and see if it's worth getting or not. So, like I said, I think Game Pass is definitely worth trying if you own like an Xbox system, especially if it's a Series S or X, or if you have it on PC, since I believe Game Pass is also available on PC as well. Okay, this concludes my review / thoughts on Xbox Game Pass. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about Xbox Game Pass? Do you have Xbox Game Pass? And if so, which system are you using it on? Are you using it on PC or the Xbox One or Xbox Series S, X, or S, though? Do you like the selection of games? Do you like the fact that you get a discount if you're part of Game Pass, and the game you can get a discount in terms of buying that game that's on Game Pass, though? Are you okay with them taking the Netflix style of approach, or are you not really a big fan of the Netflix style of approach? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you'd like. You could do it through PayPal me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!